Om Shanti. Good morning. So listen to Papa's Murli for 4th March 25. The essence is, sweet children, there is no nourishment like happiness. Whilst walking and moving around, remember the Father with happiness and you will become pure. There's no nourishment like happiness. They say, Khushi jasi khorak nahi. So, if you, while walking and moving around, remember the Father with happiness and you will become pure. What is the way to stop performing any sinful action? Answer. Following Srimad is the way to protect yourself from performing sinful actions. The Father's first Srimad is, consider yourself to be a soul and remember the Father. Follow this Srimad and you will become conquerors of sinful actions. So the first Srimad is, consider yourself to be a soul and remember the Father. So follow this Srimad and it's a big, big protection for us. Om Shanti. You spiritual children are sitting here and also at all the centers. All of you children know that the spiritual father has now come here. He will once again take us back home from this dirty old world. The Father has come to make you pure. He only talks to souls. It is the souls that listen through their ears. The Father doesn't have a body of his own. Therefore, the Father says, I take the support of this body to give you my introduction. I enter this ordinary body and show you children the way to become pure. I come and show you this method every cycle. You have become so unhappy in this kingdom of Ravan. You are in the kingdom of Ravan, the cottage of sorrow. It's just that people don't realize or they don't know that they are in this kingdom of Ravan or they are in cottage of sorrow. Then people believe that happiness and sorrow are like two sides of the coin. So in life, we'll not be happy at all times. There will be sorrow. So everybody has accepted sorrow in their lives. But Baba says, no. Having sorrow means that you are in Ravan's jail. And being happy means you have liberated yourself from Ravan's jail. Also, what happens is the moment we understand this knowledge, we start acknowledging or we start to discern actually happiness from sorrow. We start to discern, okay, this is giving me sorrow. This action, this thought, these vices are giving me sorrow. So when I pay attention to all of that, I naturally start moving towards happiness. The Iron Age is called the land of sorrow. The land of happiness is the land of Krishna, which is heaven. That land doesn't exist at the moment. You children know very well that Baba has now come to teach us. The Father says you can build a school even in your home. You have to become pure and also make others pure. When you become pure, the world will also become pure. The world is now corrupt and impure. It is now the kingdom of Ravan. Those who understand these things very well can explain them to others. The Father simply says, children, consider yourselves to be souls and remember me, the Father. Explain to others in the same way. The Father has come and he says, remember me and you will become pure. Do not perform any devilish actions. Whatever actions Maya makes you perform, they will definitely be dirty and sinful. So again, paying attention to what actions am I performing. The first mistake you made was in saying that God is omnipresent. It was Maya that made you say this. Maya will make you perform sinful actions in every aspect. The secret of action, neutral action, and sinful action has also been explained to you. On the basis of following Srimad, you experience happiness for half of each cycle. Golden and silver ages, half of the cycle we experience happiness. Then, by following Ravan's dictates for the other half of the cycle, you experience sorrow. All the devotion you were doing in the kingdom of Ravan has only been bringing you down. You did not know of these things. Your intellects had totally become stone. Stone intellect and divine intellect is remembered. On the path of devotion, they say, O God, grant this one a good intellect so that he stops all this war, etc. You children know that Baba is now giving you very good intellects. Baba is giving us very good intellects so that we can discern, we can decide accurately. You children, so Baba says, sweet children, you souls had to become impure, and you now have to be purified with the pilgrimage of remembrance. We had to, as per drama, we had to become impure. We had to come down. And only when we come down does God come and purify us. So you may go for tours and walks, etc. You can walk a long way because no matter how far you walk, when you walk in remembrance of Baba, you will forget your body. It is said there is no nourishment like happiness. People will happily go very far in order to earn money. Here you become very wealthy and prosperous. The Father says, I come every cycle and give you souls my introduction. At present, all are impure, and so they continue to call out, come and purify us. It is souls that call out to the Father. Everyone is unhappy in the kingdom of Ravan, in the cottage of sorrow. Ravan's kingdom extends over the whole world. At present, the whole world is Tamopradhan. It's not that Ravan is only in one corner, like in India or Sri Lanka or someplace. No. Ravan's kingdom is over the whole world. The whole world is an island, and Ravan's kingdom is on this entire world. At present, the whole world is Tamopradhan, impure. There are images of the Satopradhan deities. There's also praise of them. People beat their heads so much in order to go to the land of peace and land of happiness. No one knows how God comes and gives the fruit of their devotion. You now understand that we are receiving the fruit from God. There are two fruits of devotion. First is liberation, and second is liberation in life. So, liberation is sitting at home in Paramdham, and liberation in life is living in the living being liberated from bondages and sorrow and all of that, which is in golden and silver ages. These are very deep and subtle things and have to be understood. Those who have performed a lot of devotion from the time it began will very clearly understand this knowledge. Therefore, the fruit they receive will also be good. Those who have done less devotion will take less of this knowledge and will also receive less fruit. There is an accurate account. The status is number wise. The Father says, having come to belong to me, if you fall into vice, it means that you have left me. So, having belonged to Baba, if we use vice, that means we have left Baba, we have left his teachings, his directions. We are not following it. It is as though that soul falls right down. Some fall and are then able to get up again, whereas others fall completely into the gutter. Their intellects do not reform at all. Some people's consciences bite them and they experience sorrow. They feel I made a promise to God and then I deceived him and fell into vice. I let go of the Father's hand and went and belonged to Maya. Such souls spoil the atmosphere. They become cursed. So, after belonging to Baba, when they perform some dirty actions or they go on the path of sin, their conscience will bite them. And when they come and sit in yoga, they will be having thoughts of repentance and all of these thoughts. So, in this way, the atmosphere then becomes spoiled because first is their vibrations and then the thought vibrations that they are creating. So Baba says that that's why out of shame, out of guilt, many times they leave Baba. Dharamraj is also with the father. At that time, that soul doesn't realize what he is doing, but later he repents. There are many such people who kill someone, etc., and have to go to jail. Then they repent for having killed that person for no reason. Many kill others when they are angry. There is a lot of news about that in newspapers. You do not read the newspapers. You do not know what is happening in the world outside. Of course, right? When this Murli is from maybe like 40s, 50s, 60s. At that time, Baba was speaking the Murli, and all the children were in front of Baba, and nobody knew what's going on in the outside world. Even during partition, when Baba and all the 300 brothers and sisters at that time were doing tapasya. They didn't know what was happening outside. They had no idea about the bloodshed, the partition, and all of that was happening. So it was only in 1950 that they moved from Karachi to India. So Baba says, day by day, the state of the world is becoming worse. You have to come down the ladder. You know the secrets of this drama. It is in your intellects that you must only remember Baba. Do not perform any dirty act through which your register would be spoilt. The father says, I am your teacher. A teacher has a record of how his students study and their behavior. The behavior of some is very good, of some it is less, and of some it is totally bad. Everyone is number wise. The Supreme Father is teaching you very elevated things. He also knows the behavior of each one. You too can understand I have these habits due to which I will fail. And we all know our weaknesses. We all understand what are the habits in me that is bringing me down. What habit in me is making me get angry? What habit makes me angry? We conveniently blame it on the other. This one's behavior, this one. Okay, but it is triggering something in me. So, what is it? So, Baba explains everything very clearly. Those who don't study well and who make others unhappy will also die unhappy. Their status will be destroyed as well. That's why when people are on their deathbed, they usually seek, you know, forgiveness. They will remember people that they had caused sorrow. And if someone comes and meets them, they will say that, forgive me, because they know that unless they are forgiven for their bad actions or the actions or the sorrow that they cause to others, the soul will carry the burden of that sorrow. So their status will be destroyed as well. They will experience a lot of punishment. Sweet children, if you want to make your own fortune and the fortune of others, imbibe the sanskar of being merciful. The Father is merciful. He becomes your teacher and teaches you. Similarly, some children study well and also teach others. You have to become merciful in this. A teacher is merciful. He shows you a way to earn an income and how to attain a good position. There are many kinds of teachers in those studies. Here, there is only one teacher. There's only this one study for changing from humans into deities. Purity is the main aspect. Everyone asks to be purified. The Father is showing you the way for this. However, if it is not in someone's fortune, what effort would he make? If someone is not destined to claim high marks, how could his teacher inspire him to make effort? That one is the unlimited teacher. The Father says no one else can explain to you the history and geography of the beginning, middle, and end of the world. All of these unlimited things I explained to you. Your disinterest is unlimited. You are taught this because this old world has to be destroyed and a pure world established. Sannyasis belong to the path of isolation. In fact, they should live in the jungles. Previously, rishis and munis, etc., used to live in the jungles. That was when their power was Sato Pradhan, and they used to attract people. There are still some sannyasis who live in the jungles and do tapasya. They have no interest to come into the cities. They are still doing tapasya, and because of their energy, no animals harm them. So that was their power. In some cases, food was taken to them in their huts. Temples are never built to sannyasis. Temples are always built to deities. You do not do devotion, you simply stay in yoga. Their knowledge is for remembering the Brahm element. They simply want to merge into the Brahm element, that is the element of light. But no one except the Father can take them there. The Father comes at the confluence age. He comes and establishes the deity religion because a new world is needed for you. All other souls return home. All other souls return home. So they stay in liberation. Whereas when the new world starts, we go into the land of liberation, which is the new world. No one of the old world can remain there. You become the masters of the whole world. You know that when it was your kingdom over the whole world, only you lived there. There were no other continents there. There is plenty of land there. Here, there is so much land, they yet they are drying the sea to reclaim more land because the human population continues to increase. They have learned from the foreigners about reclamation of land. What was Bombay before? It will not remain in the future because all of the land is reclaimed from the sea. Baba has experienced, for instance, when there is an earthquake or torrential rain, what will you do? You won't be able to go outside. There are going to be many natural calamities. How else could destruction take place? In the golden age, there are only the few people of Bharat. So many times people get afraid when they hear destruction. We have to understand that destruction is like cleansing. And the more I practice I am a soul, the more I will understand the deep secrets of this knowledge, the more I'll be able to accept the cleansing. Because I know it's not the end of the world, it's a transformation that's happening. So, cleansing has to happen. In the golden age, there are only few people of Bharat. What is it today and what will it become tomorrow? Only you children know all of this. No one else can give this knowledge. The Father says, you have become impure. This is why you now call out to me to come and purify you. Therefore, he must surely come so that that pure world can be established. You children know that Baba has come. He shows you very good methods. God speaks, man mana bhav. Break off all relationships with bodies, and that includes your own body, and remember me alone. Man mana bhav. Break all the relations, connections, attachments to all the bodies, including your own body, and remember me alone. Only in this do you have to make effort because this is so subtle. The practice of Becoming soul conscious is very subtle. It needs a lot of attention, and that's the only effort. This knowledge is very easy. Even a small child can remember this, but it is impossible that he would consider himself to be a soul and remember the Father. That takes effort. If this cannot remain in the intellects of adults, how would it remain in the intellects of little children? Although he might continue to say Shiv Baba, he still wouldn't have the understanding of being a point of light and of Baba also being a point of light. It is difficult to keep this in the consciousness. You have to remember this accurately. He is not something large. The Father says, my accurate form is a point. This is why great effort has to be made to remember me as I am and what I am. People make huge shivlings and all that. And Baba says, I'm not that big. I'm a point of light. So remember me as I am and what I am. They simply say that the Supreme Soul is the Brahm element, whereas we say that he is an absolutely tiny point. There's the difference of day and night. The Brahm element is where we souls reside. They call that the Supreme Soul. They call the Brahm element as the Supreme Soul because they say God is unlimited light. And they think the Brahm element, which is the element of light, is God. But no, Baba or God is the light, is the point of light residing in the Brahm element. Keep this in your intellects. I am a soul, a child of the Supreme Soul. I am listening through these ears. Baba says through this mouth, I am the Supreme Soul. I am the resident of the land beyond. You also live in the land beyond, but you enter the cycle of rebirth, whereas I do not. You now understand your 84 births. You have also understood the Father's part. A soul does not become smaller or larger, but he does become dirty when he enters the Iron Age. The size of the soul doesn't change, but the quality changes. So the soul becomes dirty. All of this knowledge is in such a tiny soul. The Father's form is very tiny too. However, he is called the Supreme Soul. He is the ocean of knowledge. He comes and explains to you. Everything you are studying now, you also studied in the previous cycle and you became deities through that. Amongst you, the ones with the worst fortune are those who become impure and make their intellects degraded. This is because they are unable to imbibe this knowledge. So Baba says many times that if you are unable to imbibe this knowledge, if you don't follow Srimad, it's like you're striking your fortune away. You are canceling your own fortune. This is because they are unable to imbibe this knowledge, their consciences continue to bite them. They are not able to tell others to remain pure. They understand inside that they have been defeated by becoming impure. All the income they had accumulated has been lost. It then takes a lot of time. This one punch makes them seriously unconscious. Their register is spoiled. The Father would say, you have been defeated by Maya. Your fortune is very bad. You have to conquer Maya and then become conquerors of the world. Only the emperors and empresses are called conquerors of the world. The subjects are not called that. The deity kingdom of heaven is now being established. Whatever each one does, he receives the reward of that himself. So, law of karma. Whatever action we perform, we will receive the reward of that. We will receive the punishment for that. Whatever it is, reward or punishment, good or bad action. No one else can receive the return of my karma. No one else can settle my karma. If someone says that, oh, I will pray and then your karma will be settled, no. We will perform some puja, we will perform this, karma will be settled, no. I've performed charity so that your karma will be settled, no. Because first I have to understand who performed that karma. I did. So unless I repent for it, unless I make effort hmm, to seek forgiveness, to change my future karmas, the return or the impact of my previous negative karma cannot be settled. So, to the extent that you become pure and make others pure, you accordingly receive the fruit of that, just as those who donate a lot also receive the fruit of that. Those who donate are remembered. They receive temporary happiness in their next birth. Here it is a matter of 21 births. You have to become the masters of the pure world. Only those who became pure previously will become pure again. Whilst you continue on this path, Maya punches you and you fall right down. Maya is no less powerful. Even after staying pure for 8 to 10 years, even after battling for purity, even after saving others from falling, they themselves fall. So there are so many souls who follow purity for 8 to 10 years. They might be teaching this knowledge, helping others to remain pure, become pure. But then they get punched by Maya and they fall. This would be called destiny. After belonging to the Father, they belong to Maya. Therefore, they become enemies. There's a story about someone who became God's friend. The Father comes and gives love to you, children, and also gives you visions. Some had visions without performing devotion. Therefore, He made you His friend. Many used to have a lot of visions, but people caused so much upheaval because they thought that you were casting spells on them. They would say Brahma Kumaris are hypnotizing people. Brahma Kumaris are doing some magical spell. So they would be afraid. So the visions were stopped. At the end, you will again continue to have many visions. Earlier, you used to enjoy yourself so much. Even after seeing all of those visions, many left. Some bricks emerged from the furnace fully baked, whereas others emerged weak. Some even crumbled to dust. So it says, right, that when you're in a bhatti is a furnace. So when you put wet clay in the furnace and once it gets baked, it becomes solid. And then a clay is easily broken or ripped, right? But a brick becomes so rock solid that you really can't break it. So in the same way, some souls in those days, in the 30s and 40s, um, they were in this furnace or bhatti, where of course they were not exposed to the outside world. They were just doing tapasya. And in spite of all of this, some souls became bricks, became strong in their foundation, and some did not. Some remained brittle, some were broken easily. Because after that, when they moved to Mount Abu, to India, and when there were no money, when we call the beggary period, not that they were begging, but when there was no food, when there was no money, uh, some of them didn't lost their faith and they left Baba. So Baba says, so many left and went away. They have now become millionaires and billionaires. They think that they are now sitting in heaven. But how could heaven exist here? Some left and they had their own businesses and all, and they became very wealthy. But Baba says, and they think that they are now in heaven. huh? But Baba says, how can there be heaven now? Heaven can only exist in the new world. Acha, to you, sweetest, beloved, long lost, and now found children, love, remembrance, and good morning from the mother, the father, Bap Dada. The spiritual father says namaste to you, spiritual children, and the spiritual children say namaste to the spiritual father. Essence for Dharna. In order to make your fortune elevated, become merciful and study this knowledge and also teach it to others. Never spoil your register by becoming influenced by a bad habit. Never spoil your register by becoming influenced by a bad habit. Now recognize the bad habit and change it. In order to become a deity from an ordinary human, the main thing you have to imbibe is purity. Therefore, never become impure or make your intellect dirty. Never perform any action that would cause your conscience to bite you and for which you would have to repent. Okay, whatever happened in the past, okay, but now pay attention that I will not perform any bad action. Even using cuss words, bad language, making fun of others, all that is not accurate behavior. Sometimes we joke on others and, we feel that, oh, everybody is laughing, but we don't realize what that person is feeling. So be very careful of what actions we choose to perform, because then later on the action will bite me, the conscience will bite, I will start repenting. And repentance is also a way of settling, but settling with sorrow, right? Today's blessing. May you be a world benefactor. May you be a world benefactor and give the world the water of light with your seed stage. May you be a world benefactor and give the world the water of light with your seed stage. The seed stage is the most powerful stage, and this stage works like a lighthouse. With this stage, you can become an instrument to spread light into the whole world. Just as a whole tree automatically receives water through the roots, in the same way, when you remain stable in the seed stage, the world receives the water of light. However, in order to make your light reach the whole world, you need to have a powerful stage of being a world benefactor. For this, become a lighthouse, not a bulb. In every thought, have the awareness of benefiting the whole world. In every thought, have the awareness of benefiting the whole world. Become a lighthouse, not a small, tiny bulb. So be connected in the seed stage with the seed, and the whole world as a tree will receive the light from the seed, will receive what they want from the seed, whether it is love, whether it's happiness, whether it is forgiveness, whether it is joy, whether it is purity, peace. Slogan. The power to adjust will enable you to pass with honors at the right time. Really important. Power to adjust. The example is of water. Water adjusts, takes the shape of the container. And you know how much power water has. So when we have the power to adjust, we can pass with honors at the right time. Just need a little bit of adjustment. Probably adjustment with others, adjustment with my own old sanskars, old patterns, flexibility with my old ways of thinking, right? So flexibility, power to adjust is flexibility. And by being flexible, I can pass. Today's Avyak signal, adopt the culture of truth and good manners. The basis of God's revelation is truth. Revelation will only take place through truth. One is the truth of your own stage. The second is the truth of service. The basis of truth is cleanliness and fearlessness. On the basis of inculcation of both of these, you can become an instrument to reveal God through truth. If there is any type of uncleanliness, that is, if there is even the slightest lack of truth, or lack of cleanliness, there cannot be success in the task of revelation. God is truth. He teaches us truth. He teaches us cleanliness. He teaches us fearlessness. Mm. But many a times we don't use it in the right way. We say, oh, I'm speaking the truth. I'm not afraid to speak the truth. And we speak the truth. We don't understand the situation. We don't understand who we are speaking the, how am I speaking it, right? So fearlessness is important. That means I should not be afraid of speaking the truth, but also how am I speaking the truth? So sometimes, uh, people use these phrases and they are performing not the right actions. They say, I'm not afraid of anyone, but that's not what truth means, or that's not what fearlessness is. No? So, fearlessness means that I'm not afraid of what people will think if I speak the truth. Will they judge me? Will they think, what will they think about me? Right? Many a times we spend so much of our time thinking about what others will think of me. So I'm afraid uh, to speak the truth. But when God is truth, He's giving us the true knowledge. He's teaching us how to become true, my true self of being a soul, right? So Baba says, how do I speak the truth? So not to have any kind of uncleanliness, to be clean inside out. And revelation of God will happen only with truth. One is the truth of my own stage, and not having this fearlessness of, oh, I have so much money, I have so many people, I have this big business, I have people serving me and afraid of me and all of that. No, truth of my own stage, my stage. Who am I? That is the first truth. And the second is the truth of service. What intention am I serving with? The truth of service. Sure. Om Shanti. So today, Baba is reminding us of karmic cycle, law of karma. Whatever actions I perform, I will receive the return of those actions. So Baba is saying, pay attention. It's like if you have performed, many times people think that I have not killed anybody, I have not beaten anyone, I have not stolen anything, I have not, people think these are bad actions. But any action which is performed under the influence of the vices, anger, lust, greed, attachment, ego, jealousy, carelessness, laziness, making excuses, right? All of this. If I'm performing actions based on the vices, those are bad actions. So understand that what are bad actions, what will create a karmic account. And all of us know that we have performed actions based on ego. Ego is so subtle. Right? We say some things and then realize later, oh, this is because of ego. Jealousy, comparison, right? So all of this is creating a karmic account. And how do I settle them? So these are created in the soul, and I will get the return of this because I perform these actions. Now, the impact of settlement can be reduced when I have the power of yoga, when I pay attention to creating only positive actions going forward. So, say if I'm in minus 100, now how do I create positive? Is by keep adding plus one, plus one, plus one, plus one. And then that minus becomes slowly less, 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 less. Right? So now it's not that I pay attention to every single action, every single thought, but a simple practice that Baba is giving us is soul consciousness. He says, consider yourself to be soul. Break all your attachments to this body, this consciousness, uh, this body consciousness that we feel, this identity that I have created. Consider yourself to be a soul and remember me. And this is how we can go into an elevated karmic account. So Baba is bringing our attention to karma today. And then Baba is also saying that study, study well, consider yourself to be a soul, remember me, make your fortune elevated. And then Baba says, consider, stabilize yourself in the seed stage and just serve the entire tree of humanity. They will all receive the water, they will receive the light, might, virtues, whatever they need when I'm connected to the seed. So it's a very, very beautiful experience to be connected to the seed. That's the seed stage. And become flexible like water. Not too flexible, not very rigid, but balance. Flow like water. Easygoing. It's really important. Sure. So let's remember Baba. I, the soul, stabilize myself in my truth. I'm not this name. I'm not this identity of the body. I'm the energy. A conscious living being. A tiny point of light. I look at this birth and I look at my actions that I have performed. Any action that I perform under the influence of vice is creating a karmic account. Knowingly or unknowingly, I may have caused sorrow to others. I may have said some wrong things because of ego. I think of these souls and I seek forgiveness. I'm sorry for all my wrongdoings and saying. I liberate myself from the burden of this karma. Connect to my Supreme Father, the seed of the human world tree. See yourself in the home, in the Brahma element of light, connected to the seed. I absorb from the seed and radiate to the tree. The virtues and powers needed is being radiated to the entire tree of humanity. Each soul is receiving the virtues and powers from God. Om Shanti. Om Shanti. So have a great day. I'll see you tomorrow. Om Shanti.